Hi, this is Eric Martin with Board Game Geek. I'm here with Daniel from Sit Down, and we're looking at Magic
Eric.
Maze Kids by Kasper Lapp. And this is a new version for younger players of Magic Maze.
That's the kids' version, right?
Yes, which has gone over tremendously well. I mean, Magic
Yes.
Maze had a huge success,
Yes.
and so you're trying to mirror that game and also the way you learn it
Right.
with this new version.
Yeah, it's a kind of a new take on the original Magic Maze system.
Okay, but as well, you're learning up by levels, starting simple and you add a little
Kind
more.
of as in the basic game, you have tutorials, and then you play a complete game with the rules you learned in the tutorials.
Okay.
And so it's tutorials, a complete game, then more tutorials, next level of game, and so on, moving through 4 boards and to the complete final game.
Okay, maybe we can show how some of this works, noting that this is all prototype material right now.
Yes.
So this is not final bits that are going to appear in the game this way, but we learn how to play.
So the basic information is sit-down games brings the silence to the child's room, because right now, at least optionally, in the end in the beginning you can play and talk, but later you have the option to say, we play like in the original game and be silent, okay? So that's the fun part. Like in the basic game, in Magic Maze Kids, you have actions as well, moving actions.
Mm-hmm.
And these will be tiles in the final game. And every player gets an action. And if there is less than 4 players, the actions will be divided. Like if there are 3 players, the most proficient player will get 2 actions. And if you get more than 1 action, you should choose opposite directions. Okay. That's the idea. We have our heroes. This time it's more a fairy tale style game. So we have our heroes. The prince and the princess, and a knight and a wizard, which are all fairy tale people, like the lion and a rhino and such. And we have a basic problem. The king was messing up an experiment, and he was mutated to a frog. So at the start of the game, there is the king, which is now a frog. And we need to find ingredients for a magic potion, which will then transfer or mutate the frog to the king again. That's the basic plan. And for this potion, we need ingredients. And these ingredients, we need to find these ingredients. And to easily learn the game, we always have tutorial games on the backside of the normal game board. And so the prince has to find a mushroom. Then the setup is quite simple. The prince starts at its starting space. And then the players have to move the prince in the normal way. Like you always put the cards with the north arrow to the north. And then the player that moves west moves first, and the player moving north moves, and so on, as we already know. And then picking up an ingredient is just moving onto the space. And then we take the ingredient and we put it, this time it's just, as it is just a tutorial, we just put it here, and the tutorial is done. First tutorial done. We are moving on with the tutorials, 1, 2, 3, and then when all player got all the rules, we flip over the board, and we have our first complete game with all the rules we already know. Then we move on, now the princess and the prince are introduced, and they have to find, let's say, this is a card on the A board. We have an A mission card, so we put 3 mission cards on the transformed, on the mutated king, and now we have to move through these missions. If we complete a mission card, we have the ingredients on the card, and then we pour the ingredients into the cauldron, where we will finally stew the potion. So that's what we have to do. The prince has to find a spider web, and the princess has to find some bad poop. You know?
Okay.
So we take our rules and we try to move
We do this.
the prince there, and the princess needs to go there. Right.
Okay.
So we need to use the bridges in the beginning. Later we get special abilities. But let's just say we have the web. We finally got there, and we have the poop. Right? Then our mission is complete. We put it into the cauldron, and we discard the card.
Okay.
Now the next mission is, now the princess has to go to the spider web, and the prince has to find the phoenix feather.
Right.
We move again. And again we put it into the cauldron. And so we move through these cards, and if we finally see the frog, we'll take the big spoon, stoop, and then we just pour the drink on the frog.
There you go.
Magic happens,
Okay.
and now we have our king back.
Okay.
So,
And as we move through different boards, we're going to introduce different complications
yes,
here.
nice. We
With
get more
enemies.
complications. We get monsters. We get the dragon. We get the griffin. We get the unicorn, and they are always moving in their colored area.
Right.
So the players have to move the monsters so that we can pass. And finally, we learn some special skills, like the wizard knows or has some special magic portals, so she can move from there to there.
Okay.
Or we have the knight, the rhino knight. He knows the realm of the king very well, so he knows short ways through forests, and he can pass through secret passages other people can't walk through.
Okay.
And we finally have special skills for our prince and our princess. The basic rules, as in Magic Maze, are that meeples, the figures can't move through each other. Mm-hmm. They block each other, but the prince is an agile guy, so he can jump over other meeples, but there must be a free space behind that meeple.
Okay.
And the princess is a very good swimmer. She can swim directly across the river.
Okay.
And so in the end, and then, as it is Magic Maze, on the last board we get our timer, and we have at least 15 minutes at max to win the game. And then, if you are done with the complete game, you have more complications,
Right.
to make this game even more punchy, so that in the beginning you have 4 spaces of turning the timer, but you can say, no, let's start on the second or at the third, so we have less time. Or you try from the beginning, try to have less turns of the timer.
Okay.
Or you can further
scale it up how you want.
That's the word, thank you. Scale it up, right.
Okay. All right. Expected release date for Magic
Release is at the end of the first quarter or beginning of the second quarter. So I'm still hoping for March, late March or early April.
Okay.
And it's 5 years and older. And as we know, short play, 15 minutes at max, so can be played. And it's really fitting for children.
All right. Thank you, Daniel, for the overview.
Thank you,
Magic
Eric.
Maze for kids.
Thank you.